forests, right? So, and more to that is 40% of the city area is protected countryside. So you can really enjoy, hiking in the mountains or even going to the nearby beaches, because everything is just within 1 hour proximity to the urban area. And Hong Kong is also the Asia's premium event destination. So just last month, we had the Art Basel, if you're interested in arts and culture. And this week, we are hosting the Hong Kong's Rugby 7, if you're into sports and entertainment. So you are talent interested in coming to Hong Kong to work, right? What are the opportunities there in Hong Kong? Hong Kong strives in 4 sectors, mainly in finance, shipping, trading, innovation, and technology. So with that aligns with China's 15 five-year plan, we are attracting talents to come into work into these key main areas. So looking at also the reports that we have recently been released, IMD World Talent Ranking 2025, Hong Kong leaped up to the 4th globally, and also is ranked #1 in the Asia-Pacific region. So it just really shows that Hong Kong is the place for you to grow, innovate, and thrive as well. So talking a lot about how Hong Kong is and how great the city can support you in your international career growth, we talked about 7 admission schemes that would facilitate your incoming into the city quite easily. So looking at the schemes, we have at the moment 7 schemes that will allow you to easily come to Hong Kong. The top 4 in the first row in red, they are qualification based. And at the bottom, the second row in purple, they are more employment based, where you have to secure a job before coming to Hong Kong. So the Top Talent Pass scheme is our flagship scheme that we've been launching in the past 2 years. And for those, I think majority of you are bachelor degree graduates from the University of Amsterdam and also Free University here, right? So the Top Talent Pass scheme will allow you to apply and receive a 2 years work permit in Hong Kong. So with that visa, you don't have to secure a job before coming to Hong Kong. You can already enjoy, apply for that scheme and try to explore the city using that a 2 years work stay permit. So you may ask me, maybe you didn't graduate from your bachelor degrees from the Netherlands, maybe you study elsewhere, maybe from the UK. Then there are actually top 200 universities around the world that are eligible and made it to the TTPS eligible university list. So if you are graduates from this, you can also apply for the Top Talent Pass scheme. And the list of universities are also available on our website. So this week here, while the delegation is in Amsterdam, we have visited 6 of the 9 these eligible universities in the Netherlands, and we are really eager for you to come to Hong Kong to work. And some of you may ask, if I am not a bachelor degree graduate from one of those top 200 universities, what schemes should I use? The second scheme that I'd like to introduce is the Quality Migrant Admission Schemes. If you meet 6 of the 12 criteria, maybe including some of the academic criteria, the language proficiencies, and the work experience, by answering 6 of the 12 criteria, you probably will meet this application as well. This application will grant you a 3-year stay of permit in Hong Kong, where you can also come to Hong Kong first without securing a job. So again, because of time, I can only talk about the 2, the flagship schemes that we're promoting now. We have a booth outside, and if you have any questions, or specific to your case, you can always come to us for more for questions and ask us individually as well. And so sharing a bit more about what we do at the Hong Kong Talent Engage, we're a pretty new office as well, set up about 2 years ago, and we're here to promote Hong Kong as a premium international gateway to China and a talent hub for you. We offer also support services once you arrive in Hong Kong, or if you have any questions, you can always email us and go to our website for questions. And we keep a promise that if you email us with your inquiry, we will answer it within 48 hours. So this is our website, and it is also printed in the leaflets that we handed out. And on our website, there are a few tools that will be helpful for you to get to understand Hong Kong and understand what our admission schemes are, including the matching tour, which I highlighted before. If you're unsure of which admission schemes you are entitled to apply, then by filling in a few questions, it gives you advice and recommendations on which schemes will help you come to Hong Kong. And secondly, there's also a Hong Kong talent list, which has highlighted which industries or which professionals are needed in Hong Kong. So that will give you an idea of what kind of jobs you're likely to get in Hong Kong. And we also have a salary index and a cost of living calculator, which gives you an idea of, you always ask about the living costs in Hong Kong and what's the take-home, money that you probably can keep after tax, something like that. So it gives you a comprehensive information if you decide to move to Hong Kong. And also we run seminars on weekly basis, and they are usually streamed online on various different topics, as simple as, even how to set up your bank account in Hong Kong, or giving you practical tips on how do you put together a CV which is suitable for a Hong Kong company or Asian market. And upcoming, I think you will all be interested in the job fair that we are running virtually online. It's happening next week from the 20th to the 29th. So do register and apply. And we're expecting around 50 to 60 employers that are interested to employ international candidates, overseas talents. And you can try to schedule a one-on-one meeting with the employers and then discuss with them the opportunities there. And also, we are also very eager to attract startups to Hong Kong. We are running a hackathon, and 250 applicants will be invited to join this in Munich this June. And 12 winners will be also selected to win and awarded a trip to Hong Kong this September. It will be a full week of soft landing experience in Hong Kong, and your flight and hotels will be covered. So do apply if you are a startup and wishing to expand your business in Asia. So sharing with you all that, and then do follow us on the social media, and also if you have any questions, let us know, and we can also take in some questions during the Q&A as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace, for that. I just want to stress that they do have their booth outside. It's right to the right of the entrance. So when you enter the event, it's on your right. Go ahead and have some conversations with them. See if you have any more questions to direct towards them. Thank you so much, Grace. Up next, I would like to invite Mr. Chris Wright. He is the Executive Manager of Talent Acquisition from the Hong Kong Jockey Club. He's here to share his presentation on strategic talent acquisition, tech, talent, and opportunities in Hong Kong. Please.
Thank you for the introduction. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm glad to see you all today. I've been told to stand in a very specific area, so if I move around, I might get electrocuted or something. But here, yeah, that's me. I'm here. You may wonder why I'm here to talk to you about moving to Hong Kong and talent in Hong Kong when I work for the Jockey Club. So I'll spend a little bit of time later talking about the Hong Kong Jockey Club for those of you who don't know who we are. But we're one of the biggest employers in Hong Kong. And we have an integrated business model which goes far beyond horse racing, which I'll get into later on. But before I get into that journey, I want to share a little bit about my journey of living and working in Hong Kong, my experience there, and see if that kind of resonates with you. There you go, that's kind of some of the areas we do. This is what I like to spend my time talking on, as I just mentioned. I'll finish with Hong Kong as a talent hub. Kind of reinforcing what Grace said as well about Hong Kong as a talent hub. So first of all, living and working in Hong Kong. I was born in the UK, and then I moved to Hong Kong when I was a kid. My dad got a job out there. I was educated back for university in the UK, and then I've started working in Hong Kong back in 2003. I actually studied film, so very different to what I do now. I was in the creative industries for the first 2 years of my career. I worked for advertising agencies as a suit, not as a creative. And after several years, the agency closed down that I worked for, and I went to a recruitment agency to look for my next job, and they kind of convinced me to go and work for them. So I started my career in recruitment back in 2006. When I was in the creative side, some of our clients were financial services firms. Hong Kong, very well known as a banking and finance center. So I started recruiting in the finance space, mainly banking. After a few years of doing that, I set up my own firm. After working for boutiques, I set up my own firm, and that ran for 7 years. And then after that was about 10 years on the search side, I sold my firm. I was a 50% partner in that. I sold my share of the firm, and I went in-house to work for one of my clients, who are one of the biggest US banks in the world. I spent the next 10 years working across 2 US investment banks as the head of recruitment. So you can see my journey. I kind of worked for boutique startups. I worked for myself as an entrepreneur, built and sold a firm, and then I've worked for large-scale multinationals as well. So Hong Kong really offers that opportunity. It was really easy to do a startup, get licensed, get registration. It was, it's quite simple. Hong Kong's really trying to encourage more startup, and obviously fintech is huge there as well. And then over a year ago, I left financial services. The Jockey Club approached me about coming to help run their talent acquisition team, and being kind of growing up in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong Jockey Club is integral really to society there, which I'll go through later on how that is as a racing club. But also being a sports enthusiast as well, we're really more of a sports and entertainment organization. So it was an opportunity to work for a company that is embedded in Hong Kong's history and culture, and also gives back, because we are a not-for-profit. So we're not a revenue generator. We are a revenue generating company, sorry, we're not a profit-making company. So that's a little bit about my story, a little bit about Hong Kong. I think everyone knows on your left what Hong Kong is: a 24-hour cosmopolitan city, amazing food, amazing experiences, a kind of melting pot, right, where East meets West. High cost meets low cost. You can have a really cheap bowl of noodles. You can eat in many fine dining restaurants, and everything in between. So there really is, I think, people always ask about cost of living. Is it high? Yes, it is, relatively. But honestly, after speaking to many people in the Netherlands, especially Amsterdam, Rotterdam, I don't think the gap is too big. And I know Walter will talk later on about that as well, from a kind of Dutch perspective of someone who's moved to Hong Kong. But there are, you can live in the city. And you will live in a smaller apartment, right, unless you're wealthy and you live in a big apartment. But you can also live out in the countryside. I live 30 minutes away by ferry on an island that has no cars. So people use bikes to get around, so it'll suit you guys here who are used to riding bikes. And I take a high-speed ferry into the city most days. I work at home sometimes. I work in the office most of the time. But I spend most of my weekends out of the city. This is Lantau Island, the biggest island in Hong Kong. It's also where the airport is, but on the other side. It's 90% unspoiled nature. You then have beaches like this. This is 30 minutes away from the city. This is an hour away from the city. In winter, you get 6-foot waves here, where you can surf, plenty of other water sports. So I just wanted to highlight a couple of things. This is famous for mountain biking as well. I go mountain biking with my son, trail running, hiking. There's really something for everyone. So a lot of people, and especially in their first few years, tend to spend it living, partying in the city, and then as you kind of maybe grow out of that, or maybe continue doing that, but you start to spend more time out in the hills, hiking, where there's all, and then maybe finishing with a cold drink afterwards. So So I just wanted to show the two sides of Hong Kong, and really the reasons why not only did I move to Hong Kong after I graduated from university, but why I stay in Hong Kong, I should say, more than 2 decades later. On to the Jockey Club. So again, I think when I first say I work for the Hong Kong Jockey Club, in Hong Kong, of course, everyone knows what we do. When I say it kind of outside of Hong Kong, people wonder why someone from a racing club is speaking to them. But our main purpose and our goal as an organization is for the betterment of our society. What does that mean? We have an integrated business model. Right? We're the only licensed organization in Hong Kong to run sports betting or wagering. And we do that on horse racing, football, and national lotteries. So if you're betting in Hong Kong, not through us, you're doing it illegally, effectively. And the reason for that is twofold. One, so that we can give back to communities and society in Hong Kong, which we do through our charitable donations, which is through our charities and community. And secondly, to combat illegal gambling. So illegal gambling happens all the time. This day of age, it's even easier online. You even have like kind of financial forecasting now, which is kind of coming up as well. So our role is to give back all the money we make. So how do we do that? First of all, we employ 20,000 people. So we're one of the biggest employers in Hong Kong. That's a combination of full-time and part-time roles. And we do that across all industries and sectors. So no matter what you've studied, I'm fairly sure there'll be a position in our organization that is suitable for you. Because we have an integrated business model, racing, racecourse, entertainment, responsible sports wagering and lottery. Here we have a lot of traders, for example, anyone interested in finance. We have traders who set the odds and trade on sports betting. We also have a large charities and communities team. And to support all of these businesses, including the membership club, we have corporate functions. So anything from finance, HR, procurement, technology, which is something I'll touch on a little bit later on. We have a huge technology department of 1,500 people. That's 800 in Hong Kong and 700 just across the border in mainland China as well. Everything we do is underwritten by tech, which I'll get into. But effectively, last year alone, we paid 30 billion Hong Kong dollars in tax. That's 3 billion euros in tax. And we donated a further 1 billion euros in charitable donations. So every year, we donate around $4 billion back to society. And this just details a little bit about the revenue, how you make, that's 32 billion euros that we generate every year. And basically, this just talks about we make a lot of money, and then we give it all away. So that is our purpose. It's the only place in the world that does that, right? So most other countries, sports betting is a profit-making business. Hong Kong does not. So we really funnel that money back into society. I think this slide just really shows that people come to Hong Kong, they build, they innovate, they contribute, right? A lot of people in Hong Kong are quite ambitious. They work hard. If you are looking for just kind of a steady life, working kind of maybe 9 to 5, doing the same thing day in, day out, Hong Kong may not be the place for you, right? There are people who do that there, but it is quite competitive. If you have an edge, if you want to kind of do more with your life, if you want to be ambitious, then really Hong Kong is a place, and you'll find opportunities, you'll find like-minded people. It's a great startup culture there. There's a huge, obviously, all the multinationals are there, and many companies are headquartered there. Their regional headquarters are based there too. So a lot of opportunities for fresh grads as well. And internships as well. I previously worked, as I said, for 2 US banks. They both hired interns and grads from overseas, and the Jockey Club does as well. We have an internship program, and we have a management trainee program as well. Sports and entertainment. We're not just a racing club. This is Wednesday night, Happy Valley. Anyone who's been in Hong Kong will have heard of this. It's one of the biggest parties every week. It's €1 to get in, or free if you have your passport with you. These are beer tents. We have live music, dancers, DJs, and then every 30 minutes we have a live race. We get about 20 to 30,000 people attending this every Wednesday night. It's in the heart of the city, so people literally leave their office and they go to the races, have a few drinks, bet a little bit if they like it. Some people don't even bet, they just go for the party. But what I wanted to highlight here is we're moving away from purely horse racing and wagering to become a sports entertainment organization. And this is aligned to the Hong Kong government's strategic roadmap for the next 5 years. We're already a financial hub, a professional services hub, shipping logistics hub, fintech, and technology as well in the last 10 years. But what we're really trying to add to that is more the sports, the entertainment, the culture as well, and compete with other Asian cities by bringing kind of large events to Hong Kong. So we now have like a mega event fund that the government subsidizes, and the Jockey Club also contributes to that. This is a band that we now run called Now United, which is a bit unusual, but that's a partnership with Simon Fuller, who's a billionaire music mogul. So we're kind of moving into entertainment as well. And it's really just to diversify as well, and to attract more people, more tourists, more talent to Hong Kong. Grace touched earlier on the Greater Bay Area. So we're not only in Hong Kong, we're also in mainland China as well. So we opened a world-class race course about 4 years ago. It's currently a training facility, but this goes live in October where we'll start having live races. The point of this is not, we won't have wagering in China. It's not allowed. So the point is actually not to make money. It's to have more space for our horses, more space for training, and also to grow the equine industry in mainland China as well. That's through obviously horse racing, but also equine sports that feature in the Olympics and things like that as well. So we're committed to horse welfare so that they have more space, and also obviously to training the best racehorses in the world. Hong Kong only has 0.8% of the world's racehorses, but we have 8% of the best, which is pretty impressive for a population of 7.5 million. And we also currently have the fastest racehorse in the world called Kaiying Rising. He's been voted the #1 racehorse, the world's #1 racehorse, which is pretty amazing for a small city like Hong Kong. Moving on to talent. We don't just want to attract the best talent in the world, we want to retain them, right? And how do we do that? Well, we're a talent-first organization. And I'm sure many employers will say that, right? But we really try and live and breathe that, and we're getting better at it. But it's not easy, right? It's not easy, because often revenue comes first for most organizations. But we realize that if you look after your talent, the revenue will come. So that's what we're trying to do, and we're doing a lot of initiatives. I won't go into them now, but happy to have separate conversations on what we do. And that starts with our management trainees, who come in. These are kind of high potential management trainees. They don't just work in one division, they work across divisions, right? So if you come in, you'll do 3 years, and you'll do 6-month stints. You'll do 4 of those within your home division, and you'll do 2 outside. And the idea of that is to create kind of cross-divisional sharing and relationships, so that when you do go into your full-time role at the end of the 3 years, you already have relationships across the club, and that you can kind of work together, bring better synergies, and ultimately deliver better for our customers. And that leads us on to the customer, right? Obviously, we're very customer-focused as well, customer-centric. Technology underwrites everything we do at the club. We have some of the best tech in the world. As I mentioned before, we have 1,500 people working in tech. The board have just approved a 10 billion Hong Kong dollar investment. That's 1 billion euros over the next 5 years. And that's going towards building a completely new tech stack and also hiring new talent. Those people will be across all sorts of areas: coding, programming, cybersecurity is a huge area for us as well, IT risk and controls. I'll talk about some of those roles later on. It is a little bit tech focused, but if you check out our careers site, we really have roles across every kind of corporate function, or not every business obviously, but across our core businesses. But I think just one last thing to say on this as well. As important as tech is, and we're investing hugely on it, people are even more important, right? So you can have all the money and all the tech in the world, but if you don't have the right people, then you're not going to succeed. IMD world rankings, we're moving up, which is good. Hong Kong, COVID was difficult for many countries, but especially Hong Kong, because we are, it's a relatively small city. We're not connected by land to many places, so it did kind of shut down for a few years. But we're back, and we're now number 4, just above the Netherlands. So, if you want to improve, just move to Hong Kong. There you go. Cultural assimilation, it's very different in Hong Kong. The next presenter will be talking about that, about his experience of moving from Netherlands to Hong Kong. So I won't feature too much on that. But we, the Hong Kong Talent Engage, will offer you huge amounts of resources if you decide to either start inquiring about it or actually move into Hong Kong. And the Jockey Club also offers that for our employees. And the thinking behind it, obviously, being that we want our new employees to assimilate quickly. One, for their own personal well-being, their family's well-being if they have family, but also so that they can focus on doing their best work, right? If we take care of all that other stuff, you can actually come to work and be engaged and be passionate and do your best work. Employee demographic. We obviously hire a lot of people in Hong Kong, where 90% of our population is in Hong Kong and about 10% in the Greater Bay Area. Many of those are, kind of junior level roles, manual roles. Obviously, we have people, hundreds of people who look after the horses. We have 1,600 horse population. We have huge amounts of property as well. To look after the horses for our membership as well. We have 88 bedding shops. So we're a massive enterprise. And across that enterprise, we have 32 nationalities, which is pretty impressive for a company of our size as well, given that we're only based in Hong Kong and mainland China. I won't talk too much about this, because Grace touched on this, and we have a booth outside, so come and talk to us, but if you are interested. But the Top Talent Pass scheme, if you come from the top 9 universities in Holland or any of the other 200 around the world, you can apply for a visa in Hong Kong without employment. It's never been easier to move to Hong Kong and to work in Hong Kong, and that's the message we want to get across to you today. We've done many partnerships. We were in Switzerland 6 months ago, as Grace there, with someone from my team as well, who specializes in hospitality recruitment. There's our CEO there, and there's our mascot there, the pony, and our CEO again. This is what we offer. We really are unique in what we do. And I think much like Hong Kong is unique in what it offers as well, a real kind of melting pot of East meets West. It's a really exciting place to live. And I think the Jockey Club is a really exciting place to work. If you're passionate, if you have integrity, and if you want to do purpose-driven work, then we're the right place to be. I'm just going to finish here. I just highlighted a few of these. It is tech focused. I'm not sure what all of your backgrounds are in. Cybersecurity, IT risk and controls, hot areas, hard to find people. Change management office. Anything in transformation is very hot at the moment, right? So if you have a project management, change management background, you can really use those skills across sector, whether you're working in finance, legal, shipping, racing. And then football and basketball trading, just something a bit unique. Not many organizations have football and basketball trading. We don't actually have basketball trading approved yet. It's going through the approval process, slightly delayed, but we hope to launch that in the next 12 months to add another product as well as we continue to grow out to be a kind of sports and entertainment organization. So if you have any questions on those current roles, please come and see me afterwards. Otherwise, you can connect with us via our careers website, sign up for newsletters, or on any of the socials as well. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Chris, for introducing the various career opportunities in Hong Kong. Next up, I would like to invite our next speaker, Mr. Wouter Connect. He is the Head of Commercial Development of Transamerica Life Bermuda. Wouter, please.
Yes, thanks so much for the introduction. Also, thanks everyone for being here today with us. As Grace already mentioned, we're touring the Netherlands, and I think we visited 6 universities so far. You guys are the last stop, so let's say we saved the best for last. What are we going to talk about? So, as said, indeed, I'm a Dutch person, and I moved to Hong Kong around 7 years ago to actually progress my career there. So, a lot has been said by Grace and by Chris about how it is to work and live there. What I'm going to try to do in my presentation, explain a little bit more the personal side of things, like how it is to really build a life there. So hopefully that is inspiring or insightful for you guys if you're also considering a move to Hong Kong. So a little bit more about myself. So born and raised in the Netherlands. I studied econometrics, quantitative finance in Rotterdam, also have a degree in financial law. And then I started my career at Aegon in 2015. Aegon is a global insurance group. We also do asset management, pension business. We are headquartered, well, still headquartered here in the Netherlands. We're moving to the US, but we have actually an international footprint, including Asia and in particular Hong Kong. And then on the side, when I already started working, I also I did a postgraduate program here in Amsterdam at Vrije Universiteit, investment management. So quite a diverse profile. And then in September 2019, I moved to Hong Kong. And originally, I would only go there for 3 months. But as you can tell from me standing here now doing this presentation, that went a little bit differently. So I've been there now for almost 7 years. And I will explain a little bit today why that is. Why did I decide to stay? As was part of the introduction, so I'm now at Transamerica Life Bermuda, Head of Commercial Development. So Transamerica Life Bermuda is actually a company still part of Aegon. So for already more than 10 years, I'm within the same company. and head of commercial development, basically looking after strategy, transformation, and new business models. It's a business focused on offshore life insurance for high net worth individuals around the globe, with offices in Hong Kong, Singapore, Bermuda, and Dubai. Won't go into all the details, but if you're interested about that, just find me later after the session. But let me now go a little bit more into Hong Kong and why I now call Hong Kong my home. So for me, there are always two things to this equation, two sides to this equation. One is why do people come to Hong Kong, and then the other part is why do people stay in Hong Kong. And I think a lot of why people come to Hong Kong has been shared by Grace and also by Chris. I put the keywords on the slide, right? Global financial hub, gateway to China, heart of Asia. That's all true, right? But what does it actually mean for you as an individual if you would decide to move there? I think when it comes to the global financial hub part of it, it's a very diverse talent pool, right? So people from all across the world will be there. So that will be interesting when you're in the workplace, but also from a personal perspective, right? You will get a way more international friend group than if you would probably stay in other places. But also the companies that have a presence there, all the big banks, insurance companies, consulting firms, law firms, shipping, basically all companies have a presence there. So there are many good opportunities there. And especially, I mean, I have been a little bit the exception where I stick around with my company for quite a long time. But many of my friends who moved to Hong Kong originally for one company, very easily they moved across to other companies as well. So it's a very dynamic, very accessible global labor market. Gateway to China, yeah, so what it means from a company perspective is that a lot of companies set up their shop in Hong Kong because they want to do business into mainland China. And Hong Kong simply is a little bit more international and all that. But also, for me personally, it means that when I started my work in Hong Kong, I was part of a regional office. So I looked across different markets in Asia, one of them being mainland China. So we also have a big office in Shanghai. There was a lot of work to do there. So for 2 years, I actually spent half of my time in Shanghai. I was in an apartment there, I spent a lot of time, built a life there as well. This is really something that it can mean on the personal side. It's not just Hong Kong. Hong Kong in itself is very exciting, but small. But also the access to China, which makes it really interesting. And not only China, it's the heart of Asia. So if you would look at the map and you would draw like a circle around Hong Kong and you would aim for like a 4 or 5 hour flight time, basically entire Southeast Asia and North Asia is there. You can get to Beijing, Tokyo, you can go to Bali, also important, Singapore. All the places are within a few hours flight reach, which helps, if you're in a regional role, you can get access to all these different markets, but also, let's not forget the personal side, you can do a lot of cool trips within Asia. So that's more the business side and what it means for you personally, but that's why people come. But also I want to explain a little bit more about why do people stay. And what I always talk about is quality of life, but it's a very generic and broad term, so I will try to be a bit more specific. One thing is what Chris mentioned basically is about all the hiking trails. I mean, I'm Dutch, and you guys are all in the Netherlands, you know, the country is very, very flat. So for me, the fact that there are so many mountains around is actually very exciting. So I like hiking, I like running in the mountains. This is a picture of me. I think I arrived like just a few months into Hong Kong, standing on top of one of the more famous mountain peaks called Lion Rock, and there you have the city in the background. So the part you see there is the Kowloon side. I think already around 1 million people living there, pretty dense, as you can tell. And then at the back you see the island, this Hong Kong island, basically the main island where I think another 1.5 million people living or something. And also most of the big offices are there. So that's very exciting, but other things that make it very exciting is all the food, the people you deal with. Things move a little bit faster in Asia. I will talk about it a little bit more later. And also other aspects help. I mean, I think also Grace touched upon it in her presentation. For example, the tax rate. If you pay max 15 instead of 50 in the Netherlands, that makes, of course, a big difference in terms of what you can do. And there's a lot of cultural dynamic, and it's not only about meeting people from different cultures and all that, but what I like about Hong Kong, and also where I think it sets itself apart from other financial hubs in the world, and I've been to most of them, is actually it's a very old city. There's quite a long history. We're not talking about decades, but we're talking about centuries. So you can see that when you navigate the city, you can see all of that, and that's something also. The city feels a little bit more rough. It feels a little bit more real than other cities which might feel like a small Disneyland. So I like that. I like exploring. I like a little bit getting into touch with all these different aspects. So you will see that if you would actually move there. And then personal growth. So I think because of all the career opportunities out there, yes, you will go much faster. Also the things you will be exposed to, different markets and all that. but also the whole environment, the whole mindset of the people you will be surrounded with is way more focused on growing, accelerating, and getting beyond. I think also here in the Netherlands, by the way, we have a great mindset in trying to do new things. But sometimes in the Netherlands we try to think a little bit small, or someone else tries to grow too fast, or it grows too big. We're all started questioning, like, what is this guy doing, trying to push him down a little bit. There's no such thing in Hong Kong. Actually, there's a lot of, let's say, upward force to actually move people up in their career or with their business. So you can, if you want, you can go really fast. I think so far what I've shared, everything is very positive and hallelujah, but of course every city has its pros and cons. So I need to give a balanced picture to you. So I will share a few things which I encountered. I was like, okay, hey, that is challenging. I didn't expect that, or I had some difficulty navigating. First of all, it's an expensive city. So yes, it will be more expensive, especially the housing side. So Chris touched upon that as well, where typically places are a little bit more smaller and it is expensive. But having said that, when I moved there 7 years ago, I was kind of shocked. Now going back to the Netherlands, and I talk to my friends living in Amsterdam or Rotterdam, and I hear what they are paying for their apartments or how difficult it is to even find one. I'm like, okay, actually, it's not that bad in Hong Kong anymore. Actually, in Hong Kong, the supply is not the issue. There are enough apartments available. It's more the price or the quality of it, actually, which makes it challenging. So it's a little bit of a different dynamic. You have to take that into account. So yes, it is an expensive city, but typically salary levels, it's a little bit higher, and the tax rate is lower. So you also have more purchasing power for yourself, basically, to cover all those higher expenses. Language barrier. So if you speak English, you will be fine. You can navigate, do international workplace, you can navigate daily life in like 95, 99% of the occasions. If you go a little bit more local, then sometimes you might go into a restaurant, and they don't really speak English, Cantonese. Well, then you just survive with like pointing at stuff or a translation app, or at some point you also just pick a little bit up of the language, right? If you stay there for longer, it's worthwhile to learn a little bit. So when I got there, and I was really focused actually on the mainland market, so I decided to learn Mandarin first. I'm far from fluent, so unfortunately I'm not sure whether I will actually get there, but I have at least a basic understanding now. So these were my flashcards back in the days. But it does help, and I would really recommend doing so when you move there, for daily life, but also in the business context. Even if there will be translation or whatnot, if you can just start the conversation in Chinese, or at least you show that you're putting in the effort, that of course opens way more doors and makes it way more interesting. And then finally, far away from family. So I mean, that's kind of the nature of moving abroad, and I think for many people who are also here in the audience, they already did that. That is of course sometimes a challenge, right? You're further away. In the end, it is a 12 or 13-hour flight these days. So if you need to be back, you can be back in 24 hours. But of course, it is different. You will see your family maybe once, twice per year. Some friends, you won't see them that much anymore. That is something you have to take into account. Also that, of course, when you arrive in Hong Kong, you don't know that many people yet. You have to build a new social life as well. And I have to say, Hong Kong is a very, very easy place to meet people. Very, very easy. But it will take some time, of course. You need to invest in that, and that is something you need to be up for. And that's actually what I want to discuss on the next slide, is basically, okay, look, Hong Kong is an exciting place, so yeah, okay, I would definitely consider going there. But I'm honest, maybe it's not for you, right? And I think it is a good place for you to go typically if you're working in finance, business, more logistics, there are a lot of career opportunities there, and you want to accelerate. This is a very good place to be. It will go much faster, and there are literally way more opportunities there. But also the whole environment, it moves pretty fast, right? Especially the surrounding areas, the other parts of Asia, it's still in a more development phase. That means that the dynamics are completely different. People move a little bit faster. You're in a global talent pool, right? So also the people you're competing with for jobs, or in the job market, or just in the overall market, these people also move fast, right? So you have to keep up with the pace to be ahead of the others if you want to. And you need to be proactive. What do I mean by that? So I think there is a lot in Hong Kong that facilitates your career or your business. I think Grace told a lot about that. But you have to, in the end, do it yourself, right? So there's no one who's going to come to you and will grab your hand and then walk you through the labor market or help you start your company. It is your own company. It is your own career. You have to do it. You have to drive it. But if you want that, then for sure it will work out fine. So that's all good. But I have to be honest, for some people it might not work, right? I mean, things just move differently than what you're used to in your home country, be it the Netherlands or elsewhere. If you want to stay in your comfort zone, stick to your routine you already built up through the years, then probably not. Everything will be disrupted, things move differently. And also things are sometimes a little bit more ambiguous. So especially for the Dutchies among the crowd here, it's like here in the Netherlands things are pretty linear. Processes are very clear, there are clear timelines, and it is kind of structurally being followed. Also Hong Kong is a pretty structured place, but especially if you explore other parts of Asia, that structure kind of falls away. So things are a little bit more fluid, so to say, and you have to be able to navigate that as well. I think it makes it actually way more curious, because every time you will get surprised, sometimes bad surprise, but sometimes also good surprises, or just you learn a lot. That's actually the good thing there. And work-life balance. So I think you will have a good work-life balance in Hong Kong or Asia in general because of all the things we mentioned about the food and the hiking and the people you meet. But the working culture is a little bit different, right? Especially after COVID in the Netherlands or other parts of the Western world, working from home 2-3 days per week. You go in summer, you go on your 3-week August holiday and you throw away your work phone. That doesn't really fly in this part of the world. I mean, you will be more in the office, maybe one day working from home. That's where it typically stops. And also even when you're on holiday or on breaks, your manager might reach out to you on chat or by phone. You're even expected to join some calls. It's a little bit of a different pace. Again, because things move faster, so people don't have the time to wait for your 3-week holiday to be over. They will just reach out to you. So that's something to take in mind, but nothing too dramatic. Don't worry. You will have a good balance there. Specifically for the Dutch people in the audience or people who are here, moved here from abroad, but has spent long enough in the Netherlands to become a little bit more Dutch in their behaviors. Dutch people are very direct and they give feedback also in a very direct manner. And also they will do that when you ask for it or even when you don't ask for it. Well, in that part of the world in Asia, be careful with that. People are open to feedback, people are open to learn, of course, but better do it one-to-one, and you just need to package it a little bit differently for the softer landing. Hierarchy is more of a thing, so the Netherlands, right, is, well, literally the Netherlands is a flat country, but also in terms of organization and structure, it is very flat, right? If you're new in the company, you're a junior, you're an intern, and you go up to your CEO's office, knock on his door and say, hey, I have a great idea. Then in the Dutch context, the CEO will be like, no clue who this guy is, but hey, that's pretty cool, let's hear him out. Well, probably in the Asia context, like, okay, let's walk that guy out of the door, right? You know, they're not really looking for that type of behavior. So be careful with that. And I think the final part I already mentioned. Only thing I want to mention is this picture, by the way. So you see this windmill, and once I was hiking in Hong Kong and I came across a street sign with this windmill on top of it, and it's a Dutch lane. So I was quite curious. I'm like, oh, as Dutch people, we must have done something good to Hong Kong that they even named a lane after us. Turned out when I actually searched on Google, I found a Wikipedia page that actually is the other way around. There were just Dutch people hiking there every weekend and they put the street sign up themselves. So yeah, actually not that part of the story, but at least there are many of these Dutch elements in Hong Kong if you look out for it, which actually makes it also quite fun. I think there's also quite a large Dutch community. It's around like 3,000 people there or so, which is not bad from a small country like the Netherlands. And if you put it on the 7.5 million people in Hong Kong, it's quite a presence actually. So then finally, let's say after all the presentations, you're excited to come to Hong Kong. How should you do it? Well, first, when it comes to your skills, of course, if you're a graduate from one of the universities, as Grace mentioned, visa program is very, very well arranged. Honestly, I know also quite a bit about schemes in, for example, Singapore or other places. I think the framework Hong Kong now put into place, it's very competitive and very, very easy to actually get in. So that's a very big plus for you guys. If you have international certifications like CFAs, more for investment management, or CPA accountancy, that of course helps, right? Anything you do in the Netherlands or elsewhere, which is an international certification, they will recognize it in Hong Kong. So that makes life much easier. And language course, if you have a background for family reasons and whatnot, then you can already speak Mandarin or Cantonese, will definitely help you. If not, you will be fine, don't worry, but just pick it up later. And then how to get there. So one final thing I want to mention is the Dutch Chamber of Commerce. So there are around 180, 200 companies with Dutch roots or whatever in Hong Kong. And most of them are a member of the Dutch Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong. They organize all kind of events, networking, lunch and learns, all these type of things. But they're also a very good connector for new talent. So if you have questions about how to land in Hong Kong, how to navigate the workplace and all that, I can connect you to these guys. And they have a pretty deep network into the Hong Kong business world, of course, so they can help you with that as well. Hong Kong Talent Engage, obviously, go to Grace or just find us at the booth later. And then finally, if you want to know more about my story or have other questions, you can always stay connected with me. And how do you do that? by scanning the QR code on the left. That's my LinkedIn profile. So then you can connect and then we can chat. And finally, before we end the presentation, there were quite some cool pictures in the presentation. One of my friends, she started her own photography company in Hong Kong. So that's also one of the entrepreneurial things you can do in Hong Kong. It's not only finance, also the arts or creative industry is there. And I think she's typically focused on capturing daily life in Hong Kong. So if you just, in a more casual way, want to explore how is life in Hong Kong, you can scan the Instagram QR code. I think I'm blocking the QR code actually. You can scan this one, and then you can actually, in a casual moment, just scroll through and see for yourself what it is to live in Hong Kong. That's it for now. Thanks a lot. And I think now we're going to do a Q&A. Yeah.
Invite Grace and Chris back up for the Q&A. Okay, if you guys have any questions for them, you can direct them to them now. I will come and give you the mic.
Hello. Thank you for your speeches. And I have a question. Can you compare business startup environment in Amsterdam and in Hong Kong? And if it's better in Hong Kong, in which criteria?
We did have a speaker who just left this morning who was a specialist in that area, so it's a shame he's not here, but he was talking. He runs Cyberport, which is where it was started for all the technology startups, but now it's just a startup environment. But unfortunately, he's not here, so it's not my speciality, and I don't know the landscape here. But certainly, the Hong Kong government is offering a lot of funding for startups in Hong Kong. We know this because we've listened to his presentation a number of times over the last week. I'm not sure if Grace has more to add, but there's everything from kind of seed funding to grants to providing research and development opportunities. And the government does it without taking any equity, which is quite unusual as well, from my understanding. So it's all grant-based. They'll offer free office space, and I think they also will provide up to funding for up to 4 PhDs as well, as part of any kind of research style setup as well. So there's lots of different levers, I think, to pull. But it's really booming in Hong Kong. I worked previously at a large US bank, and we also had an incubator fund as well. And I know it's a really kind of, especially fintech, of course, is really popular at the moment, but also kind of biotech and many other areas too. So it definitely seems to be thriving. But again, I can't compare to what you have here. You're welcome.
Maybe we can talk after as well at the booth. You know, Hong Kong has the Hong Kong Cyberport and also the Hong Kong Science and Technology Parks. Those are the two biggest support that the government and the corporates, you know, they provide the funding as well. So yeah, we can talk a bit later and I can give you the names. So, yeah.
All right, thank you so much. If you guys have any other questions, you can always go. Do you have a follow-up question? We're a bit short on time right now. However, their booth is right by the entrance, and they are very, very, very happy to answer your questions over there. You can also have a lot of deeper conversations with them over there. All right, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.